Okay, good afternoon everybody. So I know you guys were waiting for our second installment of our YouTube videos for this second semester. In 7th grade, for the second semester, we've been studying for more than a couple of weeks now things that are called equations and expressions. And when we study these equations and these expressions, there's differences between them, and a lot of people are getting a little bit caught up on them. Like, what does a solution look like for an equation? And what does a solution look like for an expression? Well, first we have to know the difference between what an equation is when we look at it, even before we get the solution. Equations have equal signs. So when we're looking at this equation, we know it's an equation automatically because it has an equal sign. Equations have equal signs, so this is going to be our equation right here. Now, expressions in math, they do not have equal signs. This right here, this says 3 times m minus 2 multiplied by the quantity negative 5m plus 6. This doesn't have an equal sign. You can see that it doesn't have an equal sign. This right here, this would be our expression right here. So the difference between our equation and our expressions is expressions do not have equal signs. Now, equations, we can actually solve these and isolate a variable. So what we're going to do is we're going to isolate this variable and we're going to find out what m is equal to. Because we can isolate this variable. Here in this expression, we can simplify the expressions. So we simplify expressions, and what we've learned is, we've learned some academic vocabulary. Now the academic vocabulary that we've been learning, we can see, we're going to try to use the distributive property first. So we're going to take our expression, and if it was an equation, we'd actually start the same way. So even though this has an equal sign and this doesn't, we'd actually start with the same first step. We're going to take whether we're using an equation and we're trying to isolate the variable, or an expression or where we're trying to simplify it, we're going to use the distributive property. The distributive property, we're going to be using it with this number, negative 2. That minus sign, we're going to treat this 2 like it's a negative 2. So we're going to take our negative 2 and we're going to multiply it, and we're going to multiply it by this negative 5m, and we're going to multiply this negative 2 by the 6. So this right here, I'm rewriting it as negative 2 times 5m and negative 2 times 6. This 3m, I'm going to leave it right here as 3m. So what you can do now is you can see that these blue parts is what actually was using the distributive property. This black part print, you can see it's what didn't change. Well, this right here is going to give me a new term, and it's going to give me 10m. And this right here, this 3m, I'm actually just going to go ahead and bring it on down. Now, I know a lot of you guys get caught up with putting plus signs and where to put those plus signs. What we're going to have to see is if we don't put a plus sign right here, it might look confusing because it will say 3m, and if you didn't put that plus sign, there would be no separation between the 3m and the 10. So we want to put that plus sign right there so that we know that this 10m and this 3m are two separate terms. Now we're going to also go ahead and bring down this, which is actually going to go ahead and give us a negative 12. See, because a negative 2 times a positive 6 is a negative 12. Now, I'm almost done simplifying this, but I have to go ahead and remember my other academic vocabulary. I'm going to combine like terms. Now, if I combine in math, it means to add. So I'm going to add the 3m and the 10m together. This is going to give me a total of 13m. Now, I still have to write this minus 12 down. Now, a lot of people want to subtract the 12 from the 13, but we cannot combine things that aren't like each other. This 13 is not like this 12 because this 13 has a variable m. There are 13 m's, and we cannot take away 12 numbers without any variable from it. This is actually the solution. Look at what we started with, how long this expression was. Haven't we shortened it up? Well, you have to think about what the word simplify means. It means to make shorter, to make simpler. This is shorter and simpler, and it's the same as this. This expression is the same as this expression. They are the same expression. But this one, even though it's the same as this expression, this one is shorter and simpler. Now, if I use the distributive property and I combine like terms, I'm going to get 13m minus 12. So I would get all of this, and it would turn into 13m minus 12. But this is going to be equal to 40. So we can see the difference here is in the equation, I'm still not done. In the expression, I've been done. I've simplified the expression. This is the solution. This is what the answer looks like. In this equation, I still need to isolate the variable by adding 12. This is isolating the variable when you add 12 to the minus 12. This right here, when you add 12 to the 40, this is called balancing the equation. See, I'm trying to get this 13m minus 12 to turn into 1m equals the solution. See, I still have 13m because 12 take away 12, or negative 12 plus 12. This cancels away to 0. This is going to be equal to 52 because 40 plus 12 equals 52. What multiplied by 13 equals 52? See, this what is the variable. I can find out what m is if I divide the 13m by 13. I've officially isolated this variable because 13m divided by 13 is 1m. And if I balance the equation, 52 divided by 13 is 4. This is what the solution looks like in an equation. Equations, the solution looks like m equals a number. M equals a value of 4. This answer doesn't look like this answer. And some of the students in the class have still been a little bit confused because they want to make this answer, they want to make it m equals a number. Now, equations, the answers will look like this in our class for right now. Expressions, our answers will look like this for right now when we simplify them.